Okay, everybody. Yep, I got volume, and I'll diminish that down, and we're ready to do some work. Of course, I'm over here at I'm in Canvas. This is the session for 3603, and we're, this week and next week and the whole this whole thing of starting class on the 24th of August is as you could probably guess, is a little discombobulated. But and it's kind of wreaks havoc with us because Monday classes get whacked. And now you'll notice that we've had two modules. We've had module 0, which was 821, 23, and 25. And of course, this class is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. And as I've talked about, I do we do a physical class session on Mondays if we can, and then I'll do a live stream on Wednesday, and then Friday is a day where you're really working independently. And I've set the course up in that manner because you do have a lot of online quizzes. All of your quizzes, in fact, are online exams, so you can work ahead on them and then double back and do the cases as I go through the cases. In Module 0, which was the week of 21, 23, and 25, that was this last week, I was wanting you to familiarize yourself with Microsoft Excel Solver and use the resources from the week of 8/28, and of course here it is of Module 1. And there's several resources I have for you: the Excel Easy Solver, how it works, the GRG nonlinear, what that's all about, and the evolutionary. And then you have an assignment due on the 1st of September, okay, which is Nolan Plastics. And you're viewing through my view, the instructor view, so you can see that I have a key there. And what I will do is basically, I will go over Nolan Plastics, but I want you to try to do it and try and do Nolan Plastics. And here's you might say, okay, well, what are the instructions for that? I'm going to click on this and it will tell you. Okay, this is from Appendix 1, and here are the directions. Okay. All right, and so that information's there for you, and then of course you'll submit. Now I'm going to go over the case. Here's the thing: if you've had a class with me before, you've got it. You understand that when I say this is a workshop, okay, my approach to this is that you're learning a skill. And so there shouldn't be a whole lot of guesswork involved. I'm fine with you trying and uploading an assignment. I will go over the assignment. I'll do the key after it's due. I like you to try and see what you can do, okay? And that gives me an opportunity. If things are not going very well for everybody, I can step in and say, hey, now here's where we've had some problems. But I will go over the key so you can see it, okay? But I want you to try, okay? And one of the things about these cases is that they're going to get a little bit more complex as we go along. And if you just stick with it, you're going to find that this is not that big of a deal. I'm going to go back over to, and again, to spend a little time with you in terms of the resources for the course. Okay. Now, before I do that, let me go back up to the announcements. And you'll notice here's an announcement I posted it Friday. Now I'm going to click on it for a moment, and I want you to know during the video I forgot to mention, I mentioned it a lot. On that video for August 28th, which is a pre-recorded video, so you already have the August 28th, and this is a pre-recorded video for August 30th. In the August 28th pre-recorded video, basically I said, I forgot about, as I shared, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I'm not sure that on the 28th, and I'm not sure if I'll get over there by 11. So rather than run the risk that I don't, I went ahead and made the pre-recorded session. So you have the class lecture, you have everything I would have done anyway. And if you have questions, of course, you can always contact me. You can send me an email, and then obviously, once I get out of the doctor's appointment to Monday, the 28th, I'll be over there, and I have a class. I have Management Information Systems MIS at 2 o'clock till 3:15, and then I have a 6 o'clock Business Policy class. So I'll be around. But now, I also wanted to let you know throughout the semester, when Tuesdays and Wednesdays are basically virtual days, okay? And it's more likely than not, I will not be in my office in Shawnee. I'll be in my office in Oklahoma City. But that doesn't mean you won't be able to get me, because what I will do is I'll just simply create a meeting or a conference. I'll be online. I'll send everybody the link and say, if you need to talk to me, you can come over and reach me, and you can literally have a conversation with me. If you have a microphone, fine. If not, you can do a chat. If you have a mic and a webcam, we can have a full conversation. That will be up to you, but I will maintain those office hours, okay? And then I think if I'm not mistaken, on Tuesday from 12:30 to 1:45, I think I have class, and I will be live streaming that class. So you'll get some details and information. So there's no need to panic about any of this, or where are we, what's going on, etc. Not a big deal, okay? So this video is the screencast is in lieu of Wednesday, the 30th of August, okay? And then, of course, you'll see me pop up my calendar. And then, of course, the 1st of September, that's when Nolan Plastics is due, the very first assignment. And now, of course, as I said, we've had this killer schedule that's kind of playing havoc with us. We do not have class on the 4th of September because it's Labor Day, okay? So enjoy. And what I will do is I will post I will live, at that point, I'll live streams class session on the 3rd, okay? I may pre-record it, I'm not sure. And then let me back up for a moment here. There are going to be some times when I may just pre-record a class session, and then at that class time, just be there and say, okay, you come by my virtual office and speak with me. Look, I've had students who have found that they try this, they love it because it's so convenient. If you don't have you don't have a mic, you can always just you can text me. If you have, and you can reach me through a phone, tablet, whatever. I've had some students who will video conference with me, who have a machine and have a camera, a webcam, that kind of thing. If not, you can always just call me. You can use your phone, and we can text message and share screen, but even if you could we can have a web conference basically, and I can talk to you, and you can hear me and I can hear you. And, okay, and so that's pretty much it. So what we're working on today is, I just kind of want to get you acclimated to where we are and what's going on. Okay, so you'll see in the announcements today, I will post, I think it says Management 3603. Wednesday, August 30th, class session pre-recorded. Okay. Now, let's go back and take a look for a moment at what's going on. Of course, there's always the question of what is it that I have to do. Okay, and there's a couple of places you can navigate to kind of stay on top of things. So obviously, you can go to the calendar. I think the easiest and simplest is to go to the section called syllabus. Okay, this is one thing about Canvas I like but don't like. I don't like the fact they call it syllabus, because really what they're talking about is a schedule of assignments. Okay, but that's all right. If you want to know what's due, well, there you go. So for Friday, the 1st of September, you have Chapter 1, an exam. You have an exam over Chapter 2. And then you have the Nolan Plastics, and to upload it. That's all due by 5 p.m. Friday, the 1st of September. So, not any big deal. Now, what I will probably do, if you've had courses with me before, I often will work ahead. You know that. I'll work on a case that's 2-3 weeks ahead and say, okay, now we've done the case, upload it. Why do I do that? Well, it's just simply a matter of convenience, and also, it allows you then to it allows you to focus on the exams, okay? And I know that you're learning, your students, and so I don't expect you to come in and do the case studies. If I did, you'd be teaching the course, okay? So here, the syllabus is the best way to keep track in terms of what's going on, and there will be the instructions. Now let's take a look here at Nolan Plastics for a minute and click on that. And you'll see here are the instructions. And then I'm going to go back over here and we'll take a look at PAR Inc. Okay? And again, here are the instructions. Now, you say, all right, now where do I get the files for all of this? Which is an excellent question, which segues me to another piece of Canvas, and you click on the Files section. Okay. And look, I will stumble through some of this. I'm learning to find this stuff, okay? And I'm gonna scroll down here, and there's a lot of stuff here that's in the that I have in the instructor view that you don't have. Now, so I'm gonna go to Settings, and I'm gonna go to the Student view. Okay. And I'm going to the files. You see we're having to get all these modules pulled together. And got to do a little bit of this to get it looking nice again. So bear with me here while I do this wizardry. So it's all done. Now, folks, go over to the Files section, okay? And you're gonna find this. Here's a nice little document put together. It's called Canvas Course Schedule Resources, which tells you where to go in Canvas to find out what's going on in your course. Now, I'm going to scroll down here, and these files right here. It says the Foreman files. These are the files for that textbook called Data Smart, the green one with the picture of the guy. Okay, I think you're going to find that pretty interesting stuff. He's the CIO of MailChimp, and so I think it'll be useful for you. Now, as we come down here, I'm going to find the files for you, and like an idiot, I may not have uploaded them. I thought I did. Okay, let me scroll here for a second. Like I said, like I told you, I too am figuring my ways through this. And I'm looking here for just a second. Those are the Foreman files. That's for that textbook. And let's see here. Just a minute. I think it may be these files right here. Let me open it up for just a second and see. I'm going to download it. That's the best way to see what you've got, and I'll know here for a moment. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, I named that, so it's really intuitive to get. It's MS-13, Management Science 13, and that's the addition of the textbook, if I'm not mistaken. It's so you say, where are the skeleton files? The skeleton files, you know, the files I start with and I work through. Here they are, the MS-13 web files, and download it. Okay, and it'll download the files, and then you can see there are the files for chapter 1, and then you'll be able to go through each of them. Okay, so I'll close this off for just a minute, and let's look for a moment just quickly at the Nolan. We'll talk about it, and I'll go back over here. Now, when I want to download it straight up right here, okay, we'll download, and let's open it up. And now I have some instructions for you, okay? This is the skeleton file. This has just the basic data, and then I'm going to ask you, I give you some instructions. So what you want to do is, first of all, is download the Nolan file to your desktop. Let me say this, please, for your own sake, when you open a file up, download it, okay, and save it to your desktop, especially if you are working in the lab, okay? Otherwise, what will happen is you're going to have trouble saving the file, and you're going to be in trouble. So save the file to your desktop, and I would close it and even maybe rename it, put your last name behind it, okay? Then reopen it, do the work, save that, and then upload it over in the student files. Now, I'm going to cancel this for just a minute, okay? And I'm going to shut this off for just a second. I don't want to say that. And now, and of course, you know, I'm gonna navigate back, and you can see I've got the files that are due for each of the chapters in the Anderson text. The Anderson text is the management science text, okay? And it's that big, heavy blue thing. If you hit somebody over the head with it, you'd kill them. But it's a fantastic textbook, okay? It's a great textbook. It's worth the money. Don't write in it so you can return it. Okay, now, let's say that I'm ready, okay, to upload my work. So I'm going to go back over here. As you say, okay, Dr. Harmon, you keep telling me go to the syllabus area, because that's where all, because this, and I know, look, you want to know, what is it I got to do, you know, to get my work done? And that's fair, that's good. And okay, I'm going to upload it here. I'll click upload, and there I'll see the instructions. Okay, and then let me move this out of the way. Then when I'm ready, I submit my assignment. Over and done. Now, there will be some times when you can upload some you know, some additional stuff, but you know, that's not that big of a deal. It even tells you the points. All right. Now, I'm not sure beyond now. You know, what all I can tell you, I give you the directions, and I want you just to try the assignments. Okay. You have the lecture. You're taking a course. All right. If you could do all of these, you understood all this material and why you need to understand it, you'd be teaching the course, not me. You wouldn't even need me, okay? So, you know, it's important to me for you to try, and if you fail, that's okay. I give you credit for trying, which I think is more than fair. Now, let's talk about some things, and let me say this. Each time you listen to a video cast, okay, or you come to class, and we have a physical class, please bring your textbook. Bring both textbooks with you, because I'm usually going to reference some things out of the textbook that I think are important for you to know or to see, or that will help put this into context, okay? And it's not a bad idea to keep some notes or take some notes. You know, when this is recorded, even when we have a live class session, okay, look, it's a good idea for you to go ahead and keep notes. And I would encourage you to do that. Now, before I get too far into the rest of this, I want to go back to the logistics issues that we've got going on, okay? Okay, now remember, I have pre-recorded a class session for the 28th of August, which is Monday the 28th. This is a pre-recording of Wednesday, August the 30th, because, of course, we have convocation, all right? And that's just, I don't want to try to leave convocation, run over there, get set up, and then of course I have the doctor's appointment. So I'm just like you. You know, I don't know how many times I've seen go, hey, I got to be gone for 3 days because we're going on a trip, blah blah. Same story. This technology takes a lot of those problems and throws them out the window. Okay. Now, on the and I'll pop my. Hopefully, you could maybe, I assume you could see it. I'll pop my own calendar from my computer on. August 28th is that Monday. I'm doing that screencast is pre-recorded. I'm pre-recording the screencast for today, August 30th. I'm pre-recording a screencast for Wednesday, the 30th of August, and then on the 1st of September, that's when you're pretty much basically on your own. Okay. So there is no screencast. I may have some office hours, virtual office hours, probably will, but I figure most of you are heading hightailing out of town anyway. 4th of December, the 4th of September, excuse me, is of course Labor Day, so there's no class that day. And then on the 6th of September, I'll do a live stream, or I'll do a pre-recorded. Or I'll do a pre-recorded screencast. I just haven't decided. Okay, and then of course that Friday the 8th, there will be some more work to do, and you can see all the work that will be due on the 8th. And so, what I will do is I'll spend some time looking at. We'll spend some time looking at Nolan Plastics. Okay. And then we'll spend some time looking at Par Inc. Now, before we get into all of that, okay, and you say, oh my head's exploding and all this stuff, it's okay. You've got the video, you can go back and see. And I'll try, and the announcements. Anytime I post something, if you want, I'm going to post, I will always post pre-recorded or live streamed class sessions in the announcement area. Okay, so fair enough. Well, let's look at some things in the textbook that I want you to take a few minutes to talk about. And you say, oh, I didn't bring my text. Good for you. Not smart. Bring your textbook. You pay a lot of money for it. You're crazy not to do it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. And this is the blue, this is the big textbook, the Anderson textbook in Introduction to Management Science, all right? Now, what I could do is say, okay, here are the PowerPoints, go take a look at them. And you can read the textbook, and you need to be smart to do that. You're going to one way or the other, because you're going to get exams over each of these chapters. So you'll get exposed material, but really a very important piece of the whole chapter is over there on page 3. Okay. Now, prior to that, the author gives us some information about management science and how those terms, decision science, management science, and operations research are kind of used interchangeably. And it's all about the use of research methods and the use of quantitative approaches and the development of models, okay, that enable us to understand a business problem, okay? And if you take a look over there on page 3 in the textbook, that really is the heart of this whole course, okay? And he talks about problem solving, okay, which is the process of identifying a problem and looking at alternative solutions. Then he talks about decision making, and that is, okay, well, based on the information we have, what are we going to do, okay? Then at the bottom of page 3, he talks about 2 kinds of critters that we encounter out there as managers. Because look, you're going to get paid to make decisions. That's what it's all about. And so you have 2 kinds of decisions, as they talk about there. One is the single criterion decision, okay, whereas, and the other, which is going to be the one you'll run into the most as you go up the ladder, or you own your own company, or you run somebody's company for them, is what we call the multi-criteria decision problem. This is one that has several criteria that have to be met, or constraints, okay? And over there on page 4 in table 1.1, he gives you, okay, a little case study where you have this person who's trying to decide, which job do I want to take? Okay, if you look there at the top of page 4, table 1.1, you'll see here are the alternatives, and then his starting salaries, potential for advancement, and job location. Okay, so he's got these factors to weigh. Now, managers do this intuitively. Okay, and some managers are smart enough to make the right decision, or the best or the optimal decision, without going through a formal process. The rest of us who are human beings have to figure this stuff out. And so that's the whole process of management science, okay? And there in the middle of page 4, they talk about it: defining the problem, identify the alternatives, determine the criteria, then evaluate the alternatives and choose an alternative. And there is a beautiful, beautiful graph that shows you that, figure 1, page 5 in the textbook. I really encourage you to take a look at it, which shows you the difference between problem solving and decision making. Decision making involves getting us to the point where we're ready to choose what to do. And then problem solving is the choice of an alternative and implementing it, and then and evaluating the results. So at the bottom of page 5, figure 2 shows you an alternative classification of the decision-making process, and those chapters there. Then again on page 6, figure 1.3, he shows you the same thing. Those really are the heart of the course. Okay, if you train yourself to think and operate on that manner, you're going to go a long, long way. And listen, the business is so complex, it's so competitive today that most of it is, you can take money and throw it at problems all day long, and sometimes if you don't have a handle on what's going on, you might as well just forget about it. Okay, let me give you a really good example of that. The malls in America, the malls in the United States are dying. Okay, now they're being repurposed because they're real estate and smart people are coming in and repurposing them. But the big brand retailers are closing stores, trying to figure out. Sears is one of those companies that's in big trouble. JCPenney's is in big trouble. Nordstrom, they're in trouble. Saks is kind of, they're holding, but they're in trouble. Why? Well, this thing called the internet came along. Okay. And suddenly people said, look, why should I tramp around at the mall all day long if I can go on it and sit at my computer and find the stuff I want and have it delivered to my house? Yeah, hello. There you go. And now what's happening is we're seeing that same battle play itself out regarding groceries and stuff you buy at the store, which is why you see Walmart, lined up, and then you see Amazon. They're getting into that game, and Google is kind of in that game. And so we're kind of this part where people say, okay, we're going to have autonomous vehicles that deliver stuff to people's house. Okay, and it will not. And going to your grandkids will probably. It's a good possibility that your grandkids, okay, will laugh at you for having gone to the store. Okay, just like I would look at my grandparents and go, how in the world did you survive going out and chopping wood every day? Well, they didn't have central heat and air. Okay, they didn't have automobile. My grandfather told me about the first automobile he ever saw. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. Now, over on page 6 and 7, I'm kind of giving you a tour of what I think are the real highlights of chapter 1. It talks about quantitative analysis, and a key part in the middle of chapter 7 is model development. Okay, and the author talks about 3 kinds of models. Iconic models, okay, these are physical replicas, okay, and then they have analog models. Okay, gives the example of a speedometer that shows you how fast you're going. Okay, and then they have a mathematical model. Okay. And the mathematical for your speed is called miles per hour, mph. At the rate of acceleration in your vehicle, how many miles will you go? If you drive 60 minutes, i.e. an hour, and you go 60 miles, you're going 6 miles an hour. That is a mathematical model. The analog is the speedometer. Okay, you could do a replica of that, okay? And so we talk about this idea of building models and using that and really relying upon mathematical models. And over on page 8, they begin to walk us through this whole process of optimization by starting with what we call the objective function, okay? And there in that case, and in every case we're going to see, we are going to maximize, minimize, or try to hit a target value, and that's our objective function. And it will be couched in terms of, okay, some mathematical model. Now you'll notice it shows you maximum subject to constraints, and they have some constraints here, and they're talking about controllable and uncontrollable outputs. And there at the bottom of page 9, he talks about what he calls the deterministic model, the things that are controllable, okay, and versus those things that are uncontrollable. And he shows you, okay, a flow chart for a production model dealing with the controllable inputs, okay, and then the objective function is the mathematical model, and then the output that you get, profit and time use. So you really do want to, chapter 1 really is very useful for you and very important to see it, study it, look at it. It's quite good. It talks about the optimal solution, which is based upon our constraints. What are we trying to achieve, and what's the best we could do with what we've got to work with, okay? And so that's pretty much everything there in terms of that introduction of quantitative analysis. Then go over models of cost, revenue, and profit, and there. And let me show you something over on page 17. Okay, you will thank me for this. Page 17 shows you a graph of the break-even analysis for Nolan Plastics. When we talk about linear programming, What we're saying is that two variables are related on a linear fashion, meaning the y variable, okay, and this in terms of revenue and cost, now I'm looking at figure 1.6, page 17, is related to what? Production volume. And you know, we know, for example, if I can produce, there are ways I can find what we call an economy of scale, okay? And we also know, however, that there's the law of diminishing returns, okay? I can literally produce myself out of existence. And so we have to be thoughtful and think of that. And now what I could do is make you do the linear algebra, you know, and have all that kind of fun. I'm not going to do that. You have Solver. There are other optimization tools. I want you to understand, here's the key. First of all, you get paid to do the following things, and you're going to get paid to do the following things. One, figure out what's the objective function. Am I maximizing? Am I minimizing? Or is there a target I'm after? Number two, what are my constraints? Okay? What are the constraints I'm operating under? All right? And number three, what's the relationship between the variables? Is it linear? Is it nonlinear? Or do I just kind of have to find out? And that's why I encouraged you to go look at those three types of models in Excel Solver. Okay? So this is more than just using a piece of software. This is a thought. It's an approach to management. It's an approach, a state of mind for you as a manager in terms of a decision maker, saying, I need to follow this process, okay, and not try to fly by the seat of your pants. Well, he goes through a whole series of management science techniques, and let me tell you, if you don't believe that this is powerful stuff, then let me ask you something. How is it that you can walk into Walmart and there's 25,000 products, and they're there, and Walmart has, Lord knows how many thousands of stores around the country. How do they get all that stuff there on time? If you don't believe in management science is powerful stuff, then think about this. At any given time around the world, there are 12,000 airliners up in the air flying around with 300 or 400 people on them. And 99.99999% of the time, they land in the right place at the right time. How does that happen? Think of all the millions of pieces of luggage that gets handled, okay? If you don't believe that, so look at Amazon. How do they get stuff? How does FedEx get stuff to everybody? This is powerful stuff, okay? And as we move, as the economy continues to be more and more global, okay, this is really understanding these kinds of issues becomes critical for every single company because they compete on their analytics, okay? When you take the policy class with me, if you do, one of the textbooks is competing on analytics. Management science is powerful stuff. If you don't believe me, ask yourself, how is it that I can call emergency services and have an ambulance within 5 or 6 minutes? Management science. How can I do that? How do we know how to set up all the stoplights in a city so we have a decent flow of traffic? Okay. Well, it's management science and using those techniques. And I'm going to say this, I think especially in the area of logistics, for many of you who are management majors, I would really encourage you to go and find those companies that work in logistics and try to get on with them and go up the ladder. Because look, you can have the greatest websites in the world, you can have the greatest stuff in the world, but if you can't get it to the consumer, you're dead in the water. So if you think Amazon has a really fantastic website and they have a really fantastic recommendation engine, which you would hear me extol their virtues in data admin, I'm going to say this much. They also have a supply chain that's second to none. And because they know if you buy this stuff, you got to get it, okay? And so this is powerful stuff, right? Well, that being said, I've kind of gone through a little lecture. I'm going to take some time now, and we're going to look at Nolan, and I'm going to give you some just quick techniques on dealing with it. So I'm going to go back over here to the syllabus area. Okay, I'm going to go to the files, okay? And I'm going to look for MS-13 web files. That's Management Science 13th edition web files, okay? Because we are working in the 13th edition of this textbook, okay? Now, there's a 14th and 15th out there, but they're about $200 more. And I looked and reviewed them. I don't think they give you all that much more information. So I saved you a couple $100 using this 13th edition. So I know you pay a lot of money to go to school, and I know the books are expensive, and so I try to. Sometimes I use books that are a little older, as long as I feel like they're relevant and they do the job. Well, here's the let's open chapter 1, okay? And here's the Excel files, and here's the Nolan file, and I'm going to open it up, okay? And as I've told you before, I've admonished you repeatedly, save it to your desktop. So I'm going to click on File, Save As, okay? And I'm going to put Desktop, and this is a copy of Nolan. And I think I'm going to call this Nolan, N-O-W-L-I-N, Harmon, Keith, okay? And if you're asking yourself, why did he do that? Please come see me. I'm kidding you. So I'm going to download it on the desktop. Now I've got the skeleton file, okay? They say, all right, now where are we headed with this, Dr. Harmon? Well, it's simple. Now I'm going to go back over here, okay, to the syllabus area. Click on that, which of course has all the assignments listed, and I'm going to find Nolan Plastics. And I'm not ready to upload the file, but I am ready to do this. I'm going to copy the directions. You'd be amazed how successful you'll be in life if you'll just follow directions. Now I'm kidding around a little bit, but look, it's the truth. So I'm going to insert a text box, okay? And I'll do my text box, and then boom. And just so I can read it, make it a little easier, I'm going to probably go do something like this. I'll fold it up, make it a little bigger, 18. Now, this is Appendix 1.1, 24 through 27, see Section 1.4 in the text. So let's start with Appendix 1.1. That's over in pages 24 through 27. And pages 24 through 27 show us how to use Excel for break-even analysis, okay? It walks us through, amazingly, Nolan Plastics. And there it is, big as life and twice as ugly. Nolan Plastics Company has a fixed cost of $3,000. Now look, let's talk about the total cost equation for just a minute. Total cost equals fixed costs. Those costs stay the same, plus variable costs. Variable costs are the costs per unit, okay, that are incurred with changes in the level of this business activity. So we have total cost equals fixed cost plus variable cost, okay? Then we have this thing called the selling price per unit, okay? Now we know the selling price per unit minus the variable cost equals the contribution margin, okay? The contribution margin is the money that we have, okay, on a per unit basis to pay our fixed costs. You got it. Now we'll look down here and we see here are some of our constraints that we're working with. We've got the production volume of 800. We've got a total cost of $4,600. Okay. We have total revenue of 5. So where'd you get the total cost? Well, it's pretty simple. The total cost, okay, is very simple. And I'm going to click it here and take a look at that. But there it is. It's going to be B3, the fixed cost, plus times B3, pardon me, B3, which is the fixed cost, plus 2 times B12. And B12 is a production volume. So where did the 2 come from? That's the variable cost per unit. Okay? And then we talk about the contribution margin. All right? So we're working with the total cost equation. And basically, as it comes, here's, and I'll also tell you to see section 1.4 in the text. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start using some of these tools for decision science called, we're going to start with the baby one, and that's called goal seek. All right, so I'm going to click on data. All right, and I'm going to come over here into the data tools, and I'm going to see what if analysis. Okay, and you'll see 3 things there: scenario manager, goal seek, and data table. Those of you who took business problem analysis with me, you'll remember that we did a data table when we looked at a capital budget and said, okay, based on I think it was the interest rates they had to pay on the time value of their money, or the capital hurdle rate. That versus, I think it was the initial investment. What kind of return, profitability index do we get? Remember, we did that. Okay. Scenario manager, goal seek is where I'm able to take one cell, okay, and say, here's where I want it. Here's the goal, or what I want to achieve. Okay, and then what and the amount. So I choose the cell, and then the amount, the figure, and then there's a certain cell that I will change to get that done. Okay. Then scenario manager is where I can take several variables and change them. And usually I start with the base, and we did some scenario management when we worked in. We did a little bit of scenario management. We worked in 1123. Okay. So we're going to do this. This is what we call what if analysis. The whole point is, if I do, with these mathematical models, I can simulate, okay, what might happen out in the real world if I take a particular action, okay? So here we are, and I'm going to ask you to use goal seek to change the selling price per unit to get a total profit of $5,000. Use goal seek to compute break-even volume, okay? And use goal seek to compute break-even fixed costs. Well, all right, we're gonna do that, okay? And we're gonna start with we're gonna use goal seek to change the selling price per unit to get a total profit of $5,000. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna click on the what if analysis. I'm gonna click goal seek, okay? And I'm gonna set the cell, and I want to get a total profit. Look down here, total profit. Okay. And we want the total profit to be $5,000. Okay. And we want to change the selling price per unit. Now we have to figure, okay. Now, B18 is our total profit or loss, okay? And and our value is 5,000. And we're going to change, and we're going to say, okay, what selling price do I need to use to get to that goal? We'll run this, and then it will give us that target. It will give us the solution, okay? And what goal seek says is, hey, if you want to make $5,000 total profit, you're going to need to sell these. Your selling price per unit is going to need to be $12. Let's look at this for a moment. Remember, the total cost equals fixed cost plus variable costs. And we have a production, we have a total cost there, and that's in cell B14 at $4,600, right? And that's going to be the fixed cost that's in B3, $3,000, okay? And then notice our variable cost per unit. For every unit we make, it's $800, it's $2, excuse me, and we make 800, so that's 1,600. So 1,600 plus 3,000 is $4,600. We made 800 units, we sold them for 12 bucks, so we made 9,600 total revenue. We take out the total cost of 4,600, and there we are, my friends, we have hit $5,000 of total profit. So we built a mathematical model. We use the total cost model, okay, to set a goal and to set a constraint to reach that goal. And we use the baby tool, goal C, okay? And so that's that first part, okay, of the problem. Now I also ask you to use goal C to compute the break-even volume, okay? And I'm going to let you do some work with that. I also ask you to use goal C to compute the break-even fixed cost, and that's why I mentioned to you there. You'll want to go back to 24 through 27, okay, to see how they are worked out, and especially pages 26 to 27 shows you how to compute them. And you know, all I can tell you is, for example, the break-even volume, okay, is the fixed cost divided by the contribution margin per unit, okay? And I'll let you walk through those problems, okay? And then when the next after this, this is of course due on the 1st of September, and then I'll go back over it and say here's what you need to do. In fact, I'll have that there in the key. But they'll show you there on page 26, determining break-even point. Okay, and what we mean by break-even volume. Okay, and what we have to sell to meet that goal. So you've got 3 pieces of that problem, and that's why I mentioned look at section 1 and 4 in the text, pages 24 through 27, and you could use goal C to do that. I've already shown you how to do the first one to get the total profit volume, okay? And we use goal C to compute a break-even volume. So you're going to have to figure out what is break-even volume, and page 26 is going to show you that. And then I'm going to ask you to compute the break-even fixed cost, okay? And they'll walk you through that on page 27 as well. Well, my friends, that's pretty much it as far as this. This is for August the 30th. And again, I'm going to, we got this, and then once you've done your work, okay, I'm in student view, so I'm going to say okay. And of course, you'll do the other stuff, and I've got this saved it on my desktop, okay. And I'm in student view, so I've done my work, right? And now I'm ready, and I'll click submit assignment. So you can see me do it, and you can see here it is. And you can choose the file. If you want to add another file, you can do that. If you want to put in some comments. And then, so I'm going to choose the file. And I'm going to find Nolan Plastic QC. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. There it is, Nolan, Harmon Keith. And I'll submit the assignment. And then it says submission turned in. It says even gives you an exclamation point saying, yeah, you did it. Okay. Well, my friends, that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop sharing and in the recording. And again, this is the pre-recorded session for August the 30th. I'll label this such, and I will send you an email. And always, you say, "Well, Dr. Harmon, where are you going to put these recordings?" They'll always be in the announcements. Okay. Well, my friends, I wish you luck with Nolan Plastics. I think you'll find it an interesting case and a good way to get started using GoalSeek. And then when I go through the solution, you'll have it and you can see it, and away we go. All right, my friends. Well, tell what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'll stop the recording and end the meeting. And have a good one. And you will see me, obviously, at Convocation. I will see all of you at Convocation as well. I think you can understand once that's over with, who feels like talking about management science? And so I'm not going to have you hustle back over there and try to sit you down and go through class or anything. Let you do Convocation, then go eat and enjoy your day. But you will want to see this, and so this is pre-recorded for you. And then remember now, you'll have some assignments coming up, okay? And I'm going to go back to the syllabus one more time before I let you go. So stay where you're at. The Friday, September 1st at 5 o'clock, you'll know you'll know your assignments are almost always due on Fridays, okay? Chapter 1, that's Chapter 1 exam. And that's obviously, so for Chapter 1, that's the Anderson text, the management science text. Chapter 2, these are open book, open notes. These how many points, and then Nolan Plastics. Okay, well, folks, one of these days when we get Convocation out of the way and we get Labor Day out of the way, we'll have a physical class. But I think at this point, as we're kind of walking into this, it should be fairly easy enough for us to do. And on Nolan Plastics, okay, don't get freaked out about it. Okay, don't get crazy. Okay, try it, do your best, upload it, and then I'll go over it. Probably when I do when I do a screencast, I will do a screencast. I'll probably do a screencast in lieu of class on the 4th. I'll probably just have something out there and explain it, okay? And then, we'll go from there. All right? And I hope you saw the long set of information I gave you about what's going on, and in terms of how I'm trying to handle these courses. And I hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity and follow through. Okay, have a good one. And I'm going to click the pause share, and then I'm going to go over here and stop the recording. And you have a good one. Take care.